Good morning everybody, and welcome. 7:30 in the morning, out walking the dog up on Leckhampton Hill. It's a glorious morning. There's the sun over there. Behind me is Hill Farm, and down there is the car park, and in front of me is Winnie, who is now happily digging. There she goes. It's one of her favourite digging spots. And as I say, we're up now by Hill Farm. And if I leave her, she will dig there all morning. So it's 7:30 in the morning. Weekend in May. Kath, Edward and Harry are in Tenerife, and it's just me and Winnie. Wherever she is, there she goes, and we're down at Hill Farm, or up at Hill Farm on Leckhampton Hill. So sending our love to Kath, Edward and Harry whilst we enjoy the morning air. This is one of Winnie's favourite spots. Behind me now you can just see the cow sheds, or the cow feeding. Over the last couple of months we've watched a load of little calves that are now quite big in the field behind me, and normally at this time in the morning they're here eating, and one of them comes across and looks at Winnie, and Winnie looks at the little calf. Except this morning we're a little bit earlier than normal because we've got church later on, and the cows are way over there in the field. What is interesting is that with the hot sun we've had over the last couple of days, the farmers have built a little lean-to, which you can just see. If I get the angles right, you can just see it there, to keep the cows in the shade. And yesterday when we came through, they were all in there in the shade. When he's onto the scent of something, it's too hard to dig there, the ground is very low, and we are somewhere near what used to be known as the keeper's cottage. There was a cottage up here, not quite located the grounds to it yet, but we'll talk about that more in a minute. See, she likes a good old sniff. Here we are at one of Winnie's most favourite spots. We are just on the top of Leckhampton Hill, and we're at the Dubonnet camp, where Stone Age people over 2,000 years ago used to live. And as we go through in a minute, we'll be able to see the indentations left by their roundhouses and where they were. But one of the things that happens every morning when I bring Winnie up here is she comes to this spot, this exact spot where I am now. And just to give it a bit of context, behind me, just over my left shoulder, as you're looking at it, you can see the trig point on the top of Leckhampton Hill, and this field behind me had several roundhouses in it, and Winnie for some reason just loves to dig in this spot here. All over this little spot here now is loads of little craters, all dug by Winnie over the last couple of months. Beautiful morning, a little bit more windy than yesterday. Yesterday was bright and sunny. We've got thunderstorms predicted later, but at the moment just a slight breeze, but a beautiful morning. I'm just going to spin completely round and try and show you what we call Dog Lake. Just down there, just above my hat now, is a big muddy puddle. And over the last couple of days when we've been here, in the brilliant sunshine, all the big dogs, not the little ones, the big ones, have gone down and rolled around in the mud and in that puddle and swum around in it. Much to the annoyance of the owners because they've got to get them back in their cars. But it's been good fun. The good news is Winnie stays well away from it. Winnie's latest hole. Let's see how big it is. See the ball in the bottom of it. And she will sit there and she will dig and she will dig and she will stay digging as long as I stand here. Any big dog come along, she will stand over the ball in the hole and growl at them, and if they come even closer she will nip, which is hilarious. Here we are at the start of the Du Bonnet camp, and if you look very carefully, just right in front of you now, you can see the clear grass circle that was a Stone Age hut, with the door just over where the bush or the tree is on the right hand side. Now behind me you can see 2 or 3 outlines of the Stone Age huts. And just to put into perspective where I am, just appearing now over there behind me, should be the trig point. And somewhere in the field, I can't see because I'm now looking into the sun, Winnie will probably be digging somewhere. Now walking towards the towards the trig point, and as we come up to the trig point, you can just see the earthworks just to the right here. Massive earthworks, and people suspect that this was some form of ancient burial ground. I like to think of it more like a meeting place. I'm now stood on a bank, and the bank forms a square, and then in the middle there's another raised bank, and possibly a burial mound in there, possibly a central fire pit that they would have used here. The trig point is actually on an Iron Age or a Stone Age embankment that would have had a wooden fence on the top, and the people would have used that to hide behind. And then the other side, we'll see later, is the escarpment, so they would have been protected by a huge drop behind them. All this ancient history, and all she's interested in is burying a ball. Point. And then goes up the embankment, the woofy dog. So if you imagine a large fence, wooden wall on top of that, and we're down here, it'd be quite difficult to storm. People at the top there got bows and arrows. Distance there is Hill Farm. This stone wall was rebuilt a couple of years ago by local volunteers, and there's a plaque halfway along explaining what they did. I remember coming up here when they were doing it. Now we're coming through to what would have been the old radar station, but still part of the Iron Age, Stone Age encampment. There she goes. She's off. Hey. So there's the trig point. We've just come through the gap, and you can see people up here 8:15 in the morning walking their dogs. The dark green patch there just in front is the old round houses, and in this field there was a radar tower in the Second World War, and a building. Both have since been demolished, although hopefully I'll show you over behind that big bush that's in front of us. There is some evidence of stuff that have been used to hold radar masts up, groundworks. I love coming up here because of the history we've got. Stone Age, Iron Age history going back 2,000, 3,000 years, and we've also got history from 100 years ago, the quarrying that's up here, and we've also got a lot of history from the Second World War. Now I'm walking towards a top secret nuclear bunker, and I'm going to spin the camera around. It's in the very far distance, but it's a top secret nuclear bunker. Was a military base, was a military hospital in the Second World War, since been sold. We went over there before it was sold, had a mooch around, but yeah, it's one of those bunkers that would have been used in the event of a total nuclear war as a headquarters. Obviously where we live, we've got GCHQ, which was a nuclear target, and we're a central communications hub on the M5, Cheltenham, Gloucester, so a very important place strategically. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to spin around and then try and describe where the nuclear bunker is. So I'm now spinning around, and if I can get it, the nuclear bunker is out there somewhere. I'll try and make my thing bigger. Oh, we can't zoom in and out on this mode, but in the far distance there is the nuclear bunker. Still digging. Another one of our favourite spots. Okay, so just panning around. We're now going over to the right of that big bush that's in front of us to the viewpoint, and just putting it all back in perspective. Over there is the trig point. So we're now deep inside what would have been the camp, where those people are just coming around from the left of the bush. There is a huge cliff face, so the only way to get up here would have been to climb up the cliffs or to climb over that earth bank that's over there. So where these bushes are, here and here, this is where the radar station was in the Second World War, the wireless mast. And you see the dark patch of grass just in front of me here, approaching yet another roundhouse, which is between where the radio mast would be. Here comes a big black dog. Hello, big black dog. You come to say hello to Winnie, she's over there. Yeah, Winnie's over there, there goes the big black dog. To say hello. Winnie will stand her ground, there she goes, little bark, tell the dog she's got a ball. And the dog goes bananas, and then hopefully will run off when she realises that Winnie is not playing yet. There we go. Winnie will defend her ball. Even now Winnie's chasing that big dog, and I'm just coming in to the roundhouse. So we make our way up towards the viewpoint. And there goes the big black dog. There's the trig point, where the radar station was. Now, that's the new housing development, and that little yellow patch there, that is where the top secret nuclear bunker was. The roundhouse we're just entering. There's 1, 2, there's 3 here, and a dog, and still digging holes. So that's where the guy who was with Shackleton, Scott in the Antarctic, that's where he used to live, that big white house out on that hill. He went to Cheltenham College, which is down below us. Across there is Gloucester, and yesterday you could see all the way across to the Black Mountains in Wales. But as we pan across, looking down towards Cheltenham, in the far distance is the Donut, which is the GCHQ, views over Cheltenham. So GCHQ, top secret nuclear bunker. The cliffs that we're at the very, very top of, just now quarries, and just down there, which I'll look on another day, is the Devil's Chimney. Even now, she's digging. More views of Cheltenham, across to the Mist and Cleve Hill. My house is down there, not far. some of the groundwork for when we had the radar station here. That's all that's left. Perspective. There's the bushes. That's where the radar station was. And over there in the far distance is a dog that's still digging. Can't see me now. She hopefully will spot me. Winnie! Winnie! Come on! Winnie! She's confused here. She thinks that man is me. No. She thinks those people are me. Winnie! Here, she's now onto me. There we go. Here she comes. Bounding Biglet. Good girl. Good, good girl. Good, 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 good girl. Good girl. Now I come here every day and got a big stinging nettle and a beautiful purple flower. I don't know, I'm going to have to get out my flower book to work out what that is. Signs of the old Leckhampton Hill footpath, and up there the trig point. And again a view of what would have been the Iron Age fort, Stone Age fort, don't know. Just coming back now to Winnie's favourite spot. In a second, when she recognises it, she'll go bounding off. There she goes. She'll go and find her favourite digging spot. She knows where she is. There she goes. She's off bounding now. By the time I get across there, she'll be back digging. And we'll meet everybody at the muddy puddle. So she's looking around. This dog was just in digging around in one of her holes. So Winnie is looking a little bit apprehensive. All right, and she'll go off now and start another hole. Oh, she's gone back to original. Doesn't like that. Moving around. And the brown dog is back. Okay, and there's Winnie. More interested in a hole. This dog wants to play. And there's the owner trying very hard to get the dog back. And there's Winnie. Now we're walking back towards the muddy puddle. Now, over the last 2 or 3 days, this has been hilarious. Here goes the dog straight into the muddy puddle. Almost on cue, but didn't roll around. A couple of days ago, that was a lot deeper, and they all rolled around in it. I read the notice board. What does she do? She digs another hole. So that's us leaving the Iron Age fort, or Stone Age fort, and heading back along the path. On our next trip, I'll tell you all about what's happening off to the left of me, which now is just woodland, but was once a massive industrial centre. So, 100 odd years ago, none of these trees were here. This was call it a track, railway station. The quarry guys would have up here lots and lots and lots of carts ready to go back down the hill on a train. So that bank in front of me is man-made, and I'm just stepping off of the main track just to show you that This is a natural hollow now, but it was dug out, and they would have put 10 carts all tied together on rails here, and then behind this bank is another one of these, and then another one of these, and another one of these. And so as they filled them up with stone, they could then bring them out and send them down the railway track down into Cheltenham Kings, where they could then use the stone. Hey, that's all right, not a problem. Hey, big dog, big dog. There we go, big dog. So this is an example of this natural feature that goes all the way along on the left hand side of this path, and you can come along here and you will often find people having a look for fossils, and that might even be one just here. I'm not sure, I don't know. Yeah, but people come along, they find all sorts of things here, and all these different layers. Me and Winnie will carry on. All behind those brambles, the field. And then in front of me, a dog. There's Winnie's cows. There's Winnie's cows. We were the other side of that feeding station earlier on this morning. Cows sitting down. Tells me it's going to rain, and the weather forecast is thunderstorms coming up from the south later on today. So, although I saw the weather forecast, I think the cows are telling me. Although it's probably a little bit early. Go. Go on then, up you go. So more rock formation. These are rocks that they've pulled out from when they were making this path and put them there. Now, I've no idea about the history of this place that I'm just coming into. It's a quarry. There's evidence of buildings that have been destroyed, and it's just behind Hill Farm, which is just over there behind my shoulders. Nice and secluded, but not any idea or any history about it. Something I've got to have a look into. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen today, but normally about now, I normally meet a gentleman coming the other way that's got 4 dogs, except you only ever see 3 of them. And then the 4th dog just suddenly bounces out on you. But I haven't seen him today. Coming to the end of our walk, our car is just behind those trees that are in front of us. We're still in this little quarry thing. We came through that little gap there. Very nice, quiet and secluded. So, coming to the end of our little walk, as I say, me and Winnie do this 2 or 3 times a week. We go different places, different ways, but this is our standard little go-to walk. You know, I said about the dogs. I'm not sure if that's the one that normally comes bounding out and is not seen. We'll see in a second. There's Winnie, sniffing. Two, 3, there we go. Hey, hello dogs, hello. And there comes the 4th one, on cue. Almost on cue again. We had the gentleman that I see every time I'm on the walk. He's out with his dogs. Can you see the one in the very far distance running away? We've got 2 here, and then we've got the little last one down there. Yeah, so regular. Nice to meet him. There we go. Through the trees and up onto the car park. And let's go and find our car. And there we are, our car. The end of a good walk. So Winnie and I hope that you enjoyed that as much as we did, and we'll see you next time. Time for a cup of tea.